Hello guys, today I'm going to be walking you through how to create a to-do list app. Basically, it's just going to show you how to make a list of what you want to do in a day, your task for the day, and also how to edit this task, delete individual item or list, I can call it, or you clear all your lists. So those are the things that the app is going to be able to do. Those are the functionalities the app application we have. So let me walk you through a finished product version of the app. This one right here. So let's take, for instance, I want to do A, B, C, D, and I say it tells me that my task has been scheduled. You can see it right there. And I say I want to do QW here. Task has been scheduled. And I want to do ASDEF. The list can keep going on and on and on and on and on. So yeah, this is the this is the functionality. You can delete, you can delete, you can delete, and you can still write other things also. You can write other things also, and you can clear your list with just one click of a button. Also, you can edit. Let's say I have a couple of things on my list, and I can, once I click this edit button, check what happens. I click this edit button, this icon changes to appears here, and I can actually edit my content. Let's say I write want here and I submit it. You have want here, right? And it shows that your content has been edited. So this is what I'm going to run you through today. So let's get to it. So I already created the things that I think we don't have to go through it now. I already created it, and this is how it's going to be showing. Let me just show you. So if I say here, I go to, and I said to myself that okay, let me start the new project. Like I said, let me open the new project, the one that I was working on already. So I can say this. So this one does not have any functionality, no functionality here at all. So that is what we're going to cover in this tutorial. So I'm going to open my terminal and I'm going to do npm start. So I start the application. So here is the application. If you notice very well, if I click from and I submit, nothing happens. So this is just normal, does the user interface, no functionality. So that is what we want to create right now. So to start with, when we click this form on under submits, I already did the submit, so I'm going to cancel out this under submit. I'm going to cross out, I think I'm going to take out all these under submits, and we're going to work through it together now. I'm going to take out these ones too. All these use states, we're going to work through it together now. So this is basically what we're going to do now. So what I want to do, sorry, let me clear all these ones so that we can do it together, so you understand very well what we're doing here. So pretty much this is our website. Bare, nothing is just bare, bare, nothing. You can see even this is not real. Oh shoot. You can see that this is not even clearing out once I submit, so it's bare. So what we're going to do right now is that we're going to create a functionality. To start with, we need to type in something here. When we type in something here, we want to grab that data and keep it somewhere in a state. So basically what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to create what is called a state to save all these things. So when I click here and I type in something, I want to be able to get the data and keep something somewhere and keep so this input, I need to set something on that input. Here I'm going to make an on change rather. So when there's a change on my inputs, I want my change to do something. I want that command to do something, to run a JavaScript, which is handle change. It's going to run a handle change, and the handle change. I think I can actually create this function inside here. I can also do it inside here. So I'm going to say run this, and what I want you to do is listen for an event and use that event to set a state. Use that event to set a state. So this is it. I'm going to create a state here called const. I'm going to create a state, and I'm going to create a state. Let's make it inputs and say, okay, this is a function that will update this inputs here, and the state is going to be equal to used state. And I'm going to set this use state to what? Empty string. So it's basically empty. Don't worry about the error it's throwing you. It's just telling you that you didn't complete this thing here. So which is what we're going to do now. So we're going to say here, use when you listen for a change, run this function, listen for an event, and use that event to do what? To update my input state. So I'm going to say set input, and I'm going to say that input, set it to the value of event that happened inside of that input, which is event.target.value. When we save that, that will be fine, you see. So but now we can do something also. We can actually console log the value to see what the value of the input is. So we can do that. Let's say we do that here. Where can I do that? So I'm going to have too many consoles. Let's try and do it here and see what is going to happen. If I console log my inputs, it's first going to show me empty array. It's going to give me empty value rather. It's going to show me empty value. You see empty string. So if I click H, you can see it's showing me H here. You see? It's showing me H here. And if I keep typing, it's going to keep showing me. So this is it. So we are getting a value. You know, we're registering a value now. So I can take this out. So once we have that, what I'm going to say again is on change. Once that happens, set that input value to the value of the input. Set that this input value, set it to the value this input element is meant to have. So I'm going to say value equals, because it's a JavaScript, right? I'm going to write it this way. Control S. So that is perfect, right? That completes that state. So now we already registered, we already configured how to catch our value and use it. So, but now we need to do something else again. When we type in this value, we want to submit it. We want to add it to something, and we're going to create another state which is called const. It's called const to do array. Now we need to store all these inputs inside of my to-do array, which is going to look this way: to do list. Now if you're writing a composition in React, you have to use camel casing. Okay, always remember that. Set to-do list. Okay, I'm going to polarize this because it's going to have a lot of elements, a lot of content in the array. So I'm going to say which will be equal to what? Use. Going to be equal to use state. This state is going to carry an array, not an empty string this time around. So now this is perfect. So what next we need to do? We need to create a function called undo submit, so that when we submit this function is gonna, when you click on this button, this function is gonna run, and that button we're gonna add a command which is called on click. So when the command listens for click, it runs this function undo submit. It's going to run that function. So that is the function we want to create now. So we're going to create this function here, just right above, above your return statement. Don't do it inside the return statement. It's not allowed. That's not the normal convention way of writing it. You're supposed to write it before the return. So I'm going to say const undo submit. It will be equal to, I'm going to use an ES6 7. I'm going to say, what do I want to happen when you submit? This is what I want you to do. To start with, I want you to be able to do something. Please create, when you have that file, that data that you just received, please create it and put it inside a new container. And now add that container inside of my to-do list array. Okay, so this is how we're going to write that. We're going to say const new input. It's going to be what? It's going to be an object. Why am I making it an object? This is the reason why, because I want it to have an ID and I want it to have its own text. The ID is going to be used to select it when we want to edit or delete, which we're going to get to. So I'm going to say const, I'm going to say you have to have an ID which will be equals to, sorry, it's an object, because to UUID. Now look at it this way. I already imported my UUID. It's very simple. All you need to do is to just go to your terminal and type npm install UUID. That is all you have to do. And once you do it, let me just show you. So all you need to do is just create a new terminal so you don't affect this. Just say npm install UUID. When you run it, that is all you need to do. Okay, so that is that for now. So when you want to use it here, it's going to be, you're going to call this function here. It's a function actually. You're going to call it here. So every time you call this function, every time you create a new list, a new item on the list, you're going to create a different UUID ID number for it. Okay, so I'm going to have text. I'm going to have text here, and I'm going to set it to input, because every time we get a new input, we set it to text. You know. Now it's saying that const new item input is illustrated token. Let me see what is going on there. Okay, I think the reason why is because maybe this. Let's use this. I think this will be fine. So it should be fine. Yeah, perfect. So because you have two const, you know, so it's expecting, like I said, it's okay. Let's go back to what the error was. The error was what? Unexpected token. That means it was expecting a different token, which is because if you're going to use const like this, const again, it's you're returning something. So I think if I write return here, I guess it will be fine. Oh, it's not fine. So if I do this, put this in the brackets, will this still be fine? No. So I guess you just have to leave it this way. Oops, sorry. So this one goes off. So that is it. You know, so when you have that, that's simple. So now what I'm going to do again is I'm supposed to set my to-do lists and update it with this new information. This is how to do it. You just have set to-do lists. Now we are setting this state. We are setting this state with new content now. How we're going to do this, And also remember that set to do, set all these set to do, setting their functions, you have to re-invoke them. You have to invoke them for them to work. So now when I'm invoking it, what do I want it to do? Basically, I want it to update this, right? With what? With this value here. So, but to start with, initially there was supposed to be a content. At this stage now is an empty content, right? Because we already declared here that it's empty. But the first iteration is going to be what? Empty. But the second time we're adding content into it is going to have a previous content. So we're going to what? We are going to, it's an array. Don't forget to add that. Oh, sorry. It's an array. This is an array. Don't forget to add it. So we're going to what? We're going to spread the content before and now add a new content. New input, I meant to say. Input. So that is it. That in a way updates my to-do list. It updates that array, with this new information. So having said that, we want to now, when we type here, it hurts, right? But we still have this thing here. We don't want this here. How do we know it hurts? Okay, let's console log our input and see what it is. So if I console log my input here and see if truly my input has that information. So we'll do it this way. So now it's saying empty string, right? Input is empty string, line 20 is empty. So when I click H, you see, my input is now H, right? If I click HH, you see, we're getting something back, right? So which is perfect. That our code is working. So, but now we want to clear out this thing once we click submit. So how do we do that? All we need to do is just to say set. You need to set your input state again. You need to reset it. So set input to what? Empty string. That's all. So if I add something here, H. Okay, hold on. Let me, so that we can see that we're getting some value back. So if I say H, if I say G, if I say this, you see, when I click submit, you can see that my input is now what? Empty back, because I submitted. So it's going to be empty back, right? The initial stage it was empty before, now it gets back to empty. Because this data that I imputed has been catched and stored somewhere else, which has been stored in my to-do list. Perfect, right? So now what I'm going to do again is that is done. That is all done, right? That is all done. That is all we need there, which is perfect. So now we want to be able to display our information here, right? So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to create some components in React. So watch through what I'm going to do. So now I'm saying that after this, I want to display it here, under here, in between task list and the clear icon, which is here. So I'm going to say here, give me this. Create a component here called ToDo Lists. I want to display all the array, right? And if I do this and I save, it's going to throw an error. Fine, it's okay. It's saying that I need to create this component. I need to import it here. So I'm going to go to my source folder and I'm going to create ToDo lists.js. And I'm going to set up the boilerplate. This is it, perfect, right? And I'm just going to say create h1 here and just write hi. Let's do it that way. So I'll come here and I import it here. Simple. Import. What am I importing? I'm importing ToDo lists. From where? From my to-do list component, right? So now it's going to work. You see? Hi, H. Well, I think I wrote H there. Okay, hi. See? Hi. So now, this is where I'm going to display my list, right? So what I'm going to do again now is I need to use this array inside of my to-do list.js, right? So there's something called prop drilling. That is when you're passing information from the parents to the child element. Now it's in React we create it from the parent composition component to the child component. So now this is how you write that. I'm going to say to-do list will be equal to, because it's JavaScript, don't always forget that. Perfect. So I can catch this thing now. So if I come here and I catch it from here, I can write it this way and I destructure it later, and I say const, and I say no, it's const, and I say to do list equals to props. But I really don't like doing it this way, and because it's an extra line of code. I'm trying to minimize my code, right? So I'm just going to destructure right inside of here. Perfect. So I can use this content here now. So what I'm going to say to this thing is that, fine, when you get to this thing, what do I want to display actually? So I'm going to come here, take this out, and I'm going to say, okay, I have an array of so many contents. How can I display it now? Fine, I can use something called map function to map through all this information and display them. So this is how I'm going to set that out. I'm going to write it in JavaScript inside my HTML, and I'm going to say to do lists dot map, and I'm going to say, I mean, if you know how to do how map works, so you should understand what I'm writing here. And I'm saying, what am I returning? Return this. Return to-do lists. Okay, let's say I say return. Let's say I say return to-do list dot let's say ID, and let's say we want to console log that. We want to console log. We want to see the ID that will be given to that thing, to that information that we just put in. So now let's go to our inspector, and if I say H, you see, and I click submit, see the ID here, you see the ID that was given, you see it gave it an ID already. And if we say console log the text, no, I think it's text. Let's see. I think it's text or value. Okay, you see text giving me back text, you see, because that was what we used here. You see, text is text. So now that works perfectly well, right? So, but this is not what we want to display here. We want to say, once you iterate, give me back each item, right? So which is we're going to create a new composition here again, component rather, and we're going to call that component to do item. We're going to call to do item, and it's going to throw an error, but don't worry, never mind. I mean, we can always. That is why we are programmers, right? We deal with errors. So it's not even throwing us error, which is good. Perfect. That's nice. So I'm going to create this one. I'm going to create something called, so I don't make mistake. Let me just copy. Oh, let me just copy. Control C and create a new .js. And I can set up this. So now here we're going to style something. So I'm going to give it the class name of to do item, and I'm going to write here hi, hello. So let's see if everything we did is right. so which is good. So let's try and see if it's going to give us hello. Okay, fine. If it doesn't give us hello, no problem. We can still go ahead and set up, because the reason why is because we are mapping through something, and hello is not a content in this thing, so it's not going to give us hello. But if I say it should give me here, and I say it should give me, if I say I want it to give me the content of these to-do lists, right? All I need to do is to pass in the props I want to display, which will be to-do list, a single element item. That is what I'm not to-do lists now, to-do list, because that is what I want to use. So I'm going to write it this way: to-do list. Pass me that prop. The prop, that is what I want to use. So once I come here, I'm going to destructure here, and I'm going to say to-do list. Don't forget, it's a singular, not plural. It's singular, not plural. So if I save that, then what do I want to do? Now I'm going to do some things. I'm going to put down some things. So the first thing is that here you're supposed to give, like I said, the ID. We need to use it to identify each items, right? So we need to give here at this point. We need to give the ID, each element ID as the iteration goes. So the first thing we're going to create is the title, right? The text. We're going to display the text. We're going to use H4 to display this text, and it's going to have to-do list.text. Not forget to-do list.text. I'm going to do that so I doesn't throw an error. And we're going to give it a key, which is going to be equals to-do list.id. Remember that. To-do having typo error .id. I think I'm correct though. Yeah. That's just about it. So after that, what do I want to create again? Now I'm going to create, remember that when I was running you through this, I said when you create something and when you submit, see, we're going to have the text and we're going to have these icons. So that's what I want to do now. So I'm going to create the icon now. So it's going to be a div, and I'm going to give that div a class name. No, I don't think I need a class name for the div, because I'm going to be using Flex actually to style them. So what I'm going to do is that I need that icon, and that icon is called edit round icon. So I'm going to go to my material UI, and I'm going to type edit, and this is it. And I'm going to copy this, Control C, Command C, and I'm going to come here and import it here. And I'm going to copy this one, and I'm going to use it here, and I'm going to say, give me this back. Give me this back. Give me this back. And also the delete button. So I need a delete, right? I'm going to come here again. I'm going to say delete. Give me a delete. So delete. So this is the delete I'm using. Okay, well, should we use this or this? Let's just use this. I mean, we can use, since it's what we use in the final project. So I'm going to say here. I'm going to say here. V. So here, copy this and do this. Perfect. But we can't really see anything now. So I think we can so see something. So what I'm going to do now is go to my app, and when I type something and I submit, wow, it's not showing me what could be happening. Okay. Let me just go through the application again. Let's see where we're doing what we're doing wrong. Let's see what we're doing wrong. Yeah, I passed in the prop, and I said okay, fine. Here, look at it now. I have, it's a prop composition component, right? I told you component, that is how you write it. And again, I didn't import it here. Import. I didn't import. You see how we can make mistake and think, oh, our application is not working, but we are actually the one that made the mistake. I think now it should work. ToDo.js does not match this code. Okay. Yeah, here. So I'm going to rename this. So I think we should be fine now. Okay, I think we should be fine now. Okay. Cannot find file. To-do.item. To-do list. To-do item. Yeah, we just updated it. So why is it telling me that we can't find it? Oh, okay. Oh, I get it. Here. You see, we have to be very careful in our naming. Naming can just... Okay. Okay, it's fine. No problem. We can solve what is going on. I import here to do item from to do item, and I use to do item here, and here I have to do item. Okay, you know what? It's very simple. Let's just do something. Let's just copy this, Control X, and let's delete this since it's giving us issue. Let's delete and let's just delete it like this. We should just start all over again. So to do item from to do item, to do item, to do item, to do item. So we go here and we create a new file called to do item.js, and we say we do this. I will paste v. I will say okay, import this and this. So we go back to our material UI. We do this. Control C, Control V, and we do this. Edit. We do this. Control C. And we go back to this and we do this. So yeah, don't forget this destructuring to do list, so you don't have it throwing error. It's still not showing us. Wow. I may have to restart my but before we restart, let's just check to be sure that we're doing the right thing. To do item.js, which is what we imported here. We imported here because we don't have this anymore. We don't have this anymore. So I'm wondering why it's still showing me that. So, okay, defaults. Oh, why is this keep? I already said this is to do. So let's start. Let's start it again. npm start. Oh, perfect. So we're back at it now. We're good. So if we do this, if we put in something, we should be able to get. Let's say I said Tom. Yeah, perfect. We have it. So we're good. So now we need to style this so it doesn't look awkward, because it looks so awkward right now. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna create a CSS file. We're gonna say import. We're gonna say to do item.css. So because I don't want to have an issue with any naming again, I'm gonna copy this and I'm gonna say this. Give me a new item.css. And now I'm gonna style this. I'm gonna say to do name, to do Control C. I already have this style somewhere. So what I'm gonna do, so I don't go through this stress of styling anymore, I'm gonna go to my folder where I have the files. I'm going to do to do item.css. I'm going to open it, so I'm just going to copy everything in there and use. I don't want to do Ctrl C. So this is basically what we're going to have. Ctrl V. When I save, when I say Tom again, so perfect. But now it's showing me it's not pushing, it's not, I want this, it's not doing something right here. So it's very simple. What we need to do is very simple. We know that this and this two are in the same div. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to give each item name, class name. I'm going to call this edit icon, and I'm going to call this, I'm going to call it delete icon. So since I already have, so I think it will work now. It will work now. It's going to work now. You see, perfect. Delete icon, edit icon. So I have edit icon, delete icon. I don't know why this is not working. Okay, it's just showing me the color, just working on the color. So I think here I have this class name ToDo item. The ToDo item. Why do I have it here? ToDo item. ToDo item. I want to set it ToDo item. This. Ctrl V. Because I want you to give me. I'm setting you to flex, right? I said display flex. Did I set? Let's check if it was this and this. Do we have any flex on them? No. So what's going on here? What's going on here? Justify content space between. Let me take this out and see what's going to happen. Okay, perfect. We need that. So, but why is this not? Okay, the only way to know is just let's inspect. Let's inspect and let's see why this. Okay, this is it, right? So we have this one, we have this one, and we have this one. So this one. So why do we have space in between them is what I'm trying to understand. Okay, this is a CSS error. What I'm going to do is it's very simple. All we need to do is simple. I'm going to get to it. So let's go through it again. I said ToDo item has a border radius, it has a background color, it has padding, it has margin, and it has display flex, and it have align center, justify space between. So which is what it should have. So basically that is what this is supposed to give me. But why are we having it this way? Why are we having it this way? Something is going wrong. Something is going on there. Something is going on. So we need to figure that out. So let me take out the display flex and see what happens. You see? So do I need to set this text, the flex of this text? Let me set the flex of this text. Let me set the flex to, let's say, 0.8 and see what is going to happen. Okay, yeah, that's nice. We can set it to 1 and see what is going to happen. So this gives us what we want, actually. Maybe we should just do it this way. If we go for it gives us what we want. So this is perfect. So that's settled. So now we have, if we keep adding things, we keep having our lists growing. So what I want to do is that before you click and type in, I don't want this to show, because I don't want people to just keep, see, it keeps giving me empty. I don't want this to happen. So what I'm going to do, basically, I'm going to go back to my app.js, and I'm going to set a restriction to that. I'm going to tell the application that on my input, I'm going to say, if on these inputs, only show if the input has been clicked. Only show if it has been clicked. If it has not been clicked, don't show it. If edited, then hold on. I think hold on. I need to hold on. Okay, on undo submit. On click on was it undo submit or undo click? Let me just try and see which one would work perfectly well. Which one? Just a second, please, guys. Let me just figure that out.